Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Synergy of the Rose. Our last episode dealt with the divine feminine and starting to turn the volume up on the inner talk. And as we were finishing, Spirit dropped in on Sylvia and gave her a message about that. So, Sylvia, over to you.
Yes, as you were ending, and I was like, yeah, everything's fine. It was a very clear picture, and it was of a woman facing a mirror, and how we need to look at at ourselves and admire ourselves, truly look into our own eyes, and so that we can learn to love ourselves deeply. And and it got me thinking that every time I do my makeup, I never look into my eyes ever. And I realized that needs to be done. We need to do a mirror work and do a ritual about how to learn to bring the beauty out, and so that we can see that.
Yes. Yeah. It is really, really powerful. And you talking then reminded me of an exercise that we did on one of my shamanic initiations, to be honest. And the exercise was to hold hands with another human. I mean, it would be beautiful to do it with another woman, seeing as we're dealing with the divine feminine here, to just gently hold hands and look into each other's eyes. One is the receiver and one is the giver. And without words, through your eyes and through your heart, through the energy that you are exuding, you tell the other one what the beauty you see in them. So you're not using words, and that's what makes it so powerful. This is an energetic exchange. This is a telepathic exchange. And so you look deeply into their eyes and they have to hold your gaze. And it's really hard because our natural instinct is to look away. And
Yeah.
so the receiver has to say, no, I'm doing this. I'm going to leave. I'm going to be open for this. And they have to use their energy to hold that glaze and allow themselves to receive. And you do that for 2 minutes. And by God, 2 minutes seems like that. It's like 2 hours the very first
Yeah.
time you do it because we're so unaccustomed to it. And then you swap person.
Yes. When you said that, immediately I was like, oh, do that. Even the panic that came in
Yeah,
into
yeah.
staring into someone's eyes, because for me, that's you are looking deep in their souls,
Mm-hmm.
revealing a lot, a lot. So especially like for me, when I can add sometimes, I can sense people, and when they touch me, I can sense how they're feeling and everything. And then I have this always, um, uh, have images coming up all the time that where I'm quite afraid to do that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I've always said like, oh no, no, I can't look at someone. So I've learned to look at people like right here, just because in there, But that's
Yeah.
your third eye. So I mean, I feel like that's more connection for me as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
get to know more.
But
But
you
in
don't get to dig in the dirt then.
no, I don't. No, I feel like
And it's the
higher
dirt
self.
we've
Like
got to dig in because we've got to
yeah,
get it out. That's the only way we are going to heal these lineages.
yes, yeah. One of the things that it was coming up as well was with mirror work. It was the fact that when you said be kind to yourself in the last podcast and how you treat yourself, even if you want to go into a more logical thinking, like the brain hasn't quite developed into understanding when one is oneself and what is real. So it's very tricky for the brain to understand whether this is you. Like if it's like I'm so stupid, the brain believes it.
Mhm.
Really does. So even if you think like, oh no, I didn't mean it, the brain does not know that. Now, soul wise to me, I've always been told you're killing yourself softly every time you are hard on yourself. So even simple words as like, I'm stupid. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Even those words that for us have been so insignificant because we use it so much, those are deep cuts, even in your soul. And that's what we need to talk about, how we talk to ourselves.
I want to go to for the more subtle ones that are used more frequently, that are very damaging. I'm getting lines. I'm getting old. I've got another wrinkle.
Mm,
My skin's not looking good. I've put on a few pounds. I look tired. I've got bags.
yeah. I actually did that right before.
Rather than going,
Like, oh my God, like this anger, like it's just really, you know, but I refuse to use
sorry, I
filters
felt that.
because
Like I called you out on it.
I still won't use filters and I still won't use any of it because this is me, you know. I think every wrinkle, the way my body and my face is shaping, it's going through some journey, it has fought some battles, and I have to learn how to love that. And it's hard because you have society and you have the media and you have all these expectations how women's value is only on their beauty.
And I
And
think as well, a lot of people forget, or a lot of people don't know, that the triple goddess is within all of us. And so some days we will look like the maiden. And women, women listening to this, you will know, you will have a day when you're in the mirror and you go, oh God, yeah, I look good. And then another day when you're thinking, fat and frumpy. And then another day where you think, oh my God, look at all these lines, look at these wrinkles, and we age ourselves. But very often that is because of the energies that we're embodying and the wisdoms that are coming through. So we are all of those three.
mm-hmm.
We are the maiden, we are the mother, we are the sage.
Yeah.
And so as you, especially on a spiritual pathway, you will start to shape shift into that. And if you're consciously aware, if you're of a certain level, you will actually see that in the mirror. But very often, even though you're seeing it, you're not acknowledging what's going on. You're just thinking, God, I'm looking old today, or I've got fat and frumpy, or it's the only one we actually acknowledge on a regular basis is, I'm looking good today. Because we're so conditioned rather than loving every aspect of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the one thing that's happening with me at the moment. If you can see there, I have made the decision. And I've been on this spiritual journey, 10 years now? And it's only now am I giving myself permission to go, do you know what? I'm not dyeing my hair anymore. I'm embracing who I am. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that. You have to get there in your own time.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody in the spiritual world is going to judge you if you still dye your hair, or whether you have your eyebrows plucked and tinted, or whether you have a bit of lip filler. Nobody's going to judge you. But are you judging yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And to what extent are you judging yourself, and how much is that holding you back? How much is that holding you back from being all that you possibly could be?
Yeah. But if you are going to do that, of course, make sure that you do it for yourself, because it's something that you like. I mean, for me, it was like I've gotten nothing done yet. And I said yet because I don't know why I said yet, but you never know. So I'm not going to say something and then years down the line, it's like, you said that you were never going to do it. So yes, I might never do it. But the fact is, to me, it's if you love something, like if you really want to have the full lips, for instance, right? And you ask yourself, why do I want this? Am I admiring somebody else? Or is it, and you go through all the questions. And if any of those are like, yes, I like them because I saw them on her and they look great and she's beautiful and I want to be beautiful, you're doing it for somebody else. But if you go like, no, I just really like full lips. Or maybe in a previous life I had full lips and that's what I miss about myself.
Yeah.
Then go for it. But make sure it's for you, because if you do that, that's going to start a chain. And then you're going to look at that and that's not going to be enough. And you're going to think, oh, that wasn't enough. Now I'm gonna get the Botox. Oh, that wasn't enough. Now I'm gonna get the implants. Oh,
When
that
you're
was
doing it for other people. Yeah.
when you do it for other
Yeah.
people, and it starts like that slowly, slowly. You're never going, and by the end of the once further down the line, you're going to look in the mirror and go, who is that person?
Mm-hmm.
You've lost yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
will recognize who you are. You detach yourself from yourself.
And this channel is about getting back to yourself,
Yeah.
knowing who you are, taking off those layers of society, taking off those layers of parental programming, taking off the layers of past life persecutions, and really embracing you, your soul self, and bringing all those fragmented parts back to yourself, stepping into your sovereignty, whatever
Mm-hmm.
that looks like, and then joining hands with your sisters in their sovereignty.
And when you said that as well, that's the first thing that came out with my sisters, with us, is that we shouldn't criticize other women. And I think it's the worst thing in the world for me, or the worst thing ever, is a woman criticizing another woman. Putting shame on another woman, belittling another woman. We're already under attack. Let's not do it to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a woman suffering, be there to help. Be there to be their support. And if you can't, try another way, even by a prayer or sending good vibrations. That also works. But don't take part in making that person feel worse. And I see that in social media, that women, it's not so much men, but it's mostly women attacking other women.
Mm-hmm.
And that breaks my heart all the time
It's that stepping on each other, isn't it, to
it's
get
awful.
a place, rather than holding hands as sisters and moving forward together. I mean, we're an unstoppable force. If we can actually get ourselves, that we hold hands, we hold our own sovereignty, we hold our own power, and we hold hands with other women that are holding their own power, and they are holding their own sovereignty. That is a wave that cannot be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we're going. This is what I want to see, so that we can take that wave to the parts of the world that they don't yet have the strength to do that.
Yes.
Where they don't yet have the right to say, no, they're not marrying that man, or they don't have the right to say, no, he beats me, I'm leaving him. Or they don't have the right to go to court because they've been stoned in the street.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that wave, and I want to help other women to be part of that wave, because I know women deep down want that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They want that. When you were talking about judgment, what came into me, and we're all guilty of it, hands up, I'm not going to deny it, and it's something I have really been consciously making myself step away from. And it's interesting, because it was a learned behavior, was criticizing other women's dress sense.
Other women's what?
Dress sense.
Okay.
That's very it's very big. I don't know, and it's big in Europe. I don't know whether it is in Sweden, but I know in Spain and France it is, and I know in England it is. You have phrases like mutton dressed as lamb. Who does she think she is wearing that? All those kind of little phrases that women like, oh my God, has she got no color coordination? It's very, very subtle, but it's still judgment. Yeah. It's still criticism.
I think that's a more European thing. I think that maybe because I grew up in California, in Los Angeles area, where we're being very free to express how we dress, and that I don't really see it. Of course they are. I mean, we have like the red carpet and the critics and all this. Of course. I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist, but in the regular field, and I've never heard it. I mean, in the regular field,
right?
Regular
day to day,
day to day.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've heard. I think that I've.
But then they would criticize. I mean, I've seen lots of social media where criticizing parenting skills and what they actually do with their life, or if they're a working mom, and so it's horses for courses, isn't it? Because you don't get so much of that in Europe, but you do get criticism, women criticizing women over their dress sense.
Yeah, I think they would have a complete mental breakdown if they ever saw me drop off my kids, because I do it in pajamas and my hair. And I noticed all the moms are really dressed up here, and I was just like, you know what? I don't care. So, I've gotten to that
Yeah.
place where I was like, I really don't care.
Mm-hmm.
My kids are fed. They had good breakfast, and I'm dropping them off in school, and then I'm gonna go and have a nice cup of coffee by myself before I start my day and go for a long walk with my dog. So I do not need to get dressed up and ready.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a very European and UK. When I go out, I'm like, even when I go to the grocery store, I realize everyone's so dressed up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you can totally tell sometimes I'm American because I'm like just flip-flops and jeans and a hoodie. So I think that is very,
Yeah.
but I think also California, especially Southern California, we're more laid back, lazy when it comes to dressing.
And if you like to get dressed up, that's absolutely fine. But it's that, I mean, again, it's horses for courses. It's stepping back from, just focus on what you like. Do what you like. Because you love it. If you like to wear high heels, wear high heels. If you like to dress your hair and put a full face of makeup on, dress your hair and put a full face of makeup on. But don't look around you and then be critical of those that don't hold an importance for. I think this is what we're saying. And of course, there are a lot of learned behaviors that do actually promote that.
Yeah.
And they are subtle, very subtle.
Absolutely. So if you ever see a mom that looks like she doesn't got herself together because her hair's a mess in a bun, or
it's probably Sylvia.
It probably is me, but also no, they got to a point where they just don't care anymore. They're living for themselves. And I know a lot of moms that are just like, you know what? I have a good friend of mine that she was like, I don't care. I'm dropping off my kids.
This is where we need to be careful, because it's that don't care is it don't care what society thinks or don't care. And this is where you need to be absolutely secure in your head. If it's a don't care that what society thinks, perfect. If it's a don't care about yourself,
no, it's definitely
red flag.
I don't care. I really don't. And people have learned to accept me like that here. So sometimes even when I do dress up, they do like, oh, you dressed up today. I'm like, yes, I did. I washed up for you. But it's more of I think that goes back into my laid back nature, where like I wear what makes me comfortable. I wear what I feel good in. And if I'm more than conservative type as well, so I tend to wear more like suits and things like that when I do go to work and stuff like that. But my favorite lip color is red, and I know that doesn't go well with everything, but I always wear it because that's my signature thing, because I like it. So I might be with sweatpants, but I have my red lipstick on.
The glamour girl.
Yes.
So, bringing this one to a close, if you've got a friend that you feel deeply connected to and trust, hold hands, look into each other's eyes, give each other 2 minutes. As I said, you do not use words. You do not use your vocal cords. You use your heart. You send them love. You tell them what you see in them through your eyes, into their eyes. You do that for 2 minutes, and vice versa. But on an everyday basis, as Sylvia said, as rightly came in from Divine, when you're putting your makeup on, when you're brushing your hair, when you're brushing your teeth, do not just go through the motions and not actually see yourself, or go through the motions and be critical of yourself. Love on yourself. Look into your own eyes and love on yourself.
Yes.
And you will see a massive shift in your energies. You will see a massive shift in your confidence. Your confidence will just skyrocket within a week, I guarantee you. And when your confidence skyrockets, then you bring in the energies of greater strength to look at and sort through the other things that are not functioning as well as they could do for you. And so that's bye-bye from me.
And me. And as always, don't forget to share, like, and comment, and we'd love to hear from you. Till next
Until the
time.
next time.